Hi everybody, welcome back to Bring Life Indoors. It's Moira here. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to say thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for your likes, your comments. All that means a lot, and I really appreciate your love and support very much. As for today's video, today I thought I'll talk about my favorite things, or some of my favorite things, because that list changes as we go. To be very honest, a few years ago, compared to today, that list has changed. So it changes all the time. It changes all the time, because as you go around and shop and pick up things from here and there, you realize what you thought was your favorite, actually there's something better, you know. So let's just say my today's favorite things concerning indoor gardening. Yeah, when that changes, I'll definitely give you an update again on that. So the first one I'm going to start with, you all know it, I talk about it a lot, is my chopstick. I love using my chopsticks to aerate my soil. I even use them on my moss poles. And like I said, most of you have asked me to actually do a video on and show you how I do my moss poles. I'll definitely be doing that soon. But yeah, I love using these. They are a great tool. These are porcelain chopsticks. You do get bamboo chopsticks and stainless steel chopsticks. I prefer these ones. The reason I prefer them is if I use them as my moss pole support, you know, moss pole support, you know, is what will go into the soil. And the truth of the matter is it doesn't rot, you know, and you can keep on using it and using it and using it. Yeah, it's for life. They don't rot. And yeah, so I love them. We've collected these over the years. We love Chinese food, so we've collected these over the years. And so I've taken some of them for my garden use, you know. So that's my number one. And my number two, you'll see that these are not things that you go to a garden shop and you find them in the aisles where you know, it's not things you'll go to a garden shop and you find them selling at the garden shop as garden tools. I don't know, I love finding what works for me and what I'm comfortable with and what I enjoy working with. I've bought over the years so many garden tools, and some of them, to be very honest, are not practical, and there are those that are very practical. So what I've done over the years is and I've discovered what works for me, and it doesn't have to be from a garden shop. It doesn't have to be for a garden use. Many of the things which works for me literally came from my kitchen, you know. So yeah, and the next one, again, completely this you'll find it from Builder's Warehouse. This is my favorite, one of my favorites. Like I've done the video previously where I was showing you how I keep my plants clean, or my plant routine, you know, and all that. Walk around with a microfiber cloth. That's something I forgot to bring to the fore, which I think I'll ask my daughter to bring for me. But this is one of the things I love the most. With most of my plants, microfiber cloth works the best. It does, you know. Because most plants, the leaves are open. I don't need to get into the cracks. Everything is reachable. I can clean it thoroughly and all will be well, you know. But with certain plants like my succulents, believe me, I need this. I need this. That's offensive. You want to say hi, offensive?
Hi.
She was trying to hide, give it and run. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. With like you saw the video I did last week, I use my microfiber cloth. Now, before I get to this brush, this is my favorite also. This is one of my favorite things. I love it. I find it very gentle, you know. It's not like any other cloth. I find it very gentle on my plants, and it removes everything that I need, like the dust, and you know, if it's sticky, because sometimes the dust can stick to your leaves, it removes it. By the time you're done, your plants are left nice and shiny and glossy, and believe me, that's your microfiber cloth. For me, I don't only have them to dust my house with, I only have what I only keep some for my plants. I have some for my plants. So that's that. And back to the brush. Now I use this for my succulents. I love it for my succulents because with succulents, some succulents are very fragile. You can't be trying to clean them with this. No. You might break those leaves. This works so much. I mean, this is very nice and soft. It's not hard. It's very soft. It works on my succulents just to remove the dust and to go into those corners where you can't reach with your fingers or your cloth. You know, this is what I use. I love this. This is my friend. This is my friend. I love it. I bought it exactly for that. Literally, I went and I bought it for that. Yeah. So that's number 3. And the next thing is measuring cups. Like I said, you know, most of the things I call my favorite tools to use around the house with my gardening, indoor gardening, believe me, it's not stuff you'll find in a garden shop. Anyway, I love these simply because you know, the garden tools you get out there, most of them, they do the job, but they don't do the job the way I want the job to be done. Like if I'm repotting a plant, I find that this works so well. It doesn't make a mess. I've got all the sizes here. There's one missing. I think it's in one of the soil buckets. I've got a tiny one for those small pots when I'm, you know, repotting a small plant. That one, they even if you make a mess, it don't be such a big mess, unlike having that big what do you call it, you know, trying to scoop the soil, and it doesn't work for me. I love this when I'm working with small pots, you know, I love that. And when I'm repotting bigger pots, this is what I use. I love it. That cup one, that what do you call it, 250 mils. So these works for me. I love them. I still have your normal garden tools. I didn't bring them forth. Why? They're not my favorite. These are my favorite for repotting. Whenever I repot, this is what I use. I bought it especially for my plants. I do have the ones I use in my kitchen for baking and cooking and all that, but these ones are for my plants, especially for my plants, nothing else. So yeah, if you're out there and you're like me and you're using your measuring cups for repotting, please comment down below. That's what I use. And the next thing is my scissors. I love. I've over the years bought so many garden scissors, so many, and yeah, and I've enjoyed using all of those. I still have them. I must be honest, they're still all there. But these, I find, I recently, well, a while ago, months ago, probably a year ago, I bought myself this set. I came across this set and I fell in love with it and I bought it for myself. I love it. It's so handy. They are nice and small. They're not huge. You can just tuck it in your pocket when you walk around the house. I love them, and they are so sharp. They are so sharp. They do the job well. They do the job well. I love them. I'm not saying others don't do the job well. Please hear me well. I just love how portable they are, that I can take them with me anywhere I go. And yeah, and I love how they look. I do. I love how they look. I think they are cute. They're the cutest thing ever. These are my favorites. Okay. And talking about garden tools, now this you will find in a garden shop, as well as this you'll find in a garden shop, right? This is my favorite compared to those big ones. I love this one. Again, I use it to aerate my soil. I use it for so many things. And sometimes if I'm trying to remove the, you know, the plant out of the pot and it doesn't want to come out, I use this. I love it. It's old. You can see it's very old. I've had this for years and 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 years. Look at that crack. It's old, but it's my favorite. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. What else? And this, it's like it's what you tie your plants with. If you want to train your plants to grow a certain way, you know, tie them to a moss pole, or you tie them to whatever it is you are using to stake your plants up. I love it, and simply because it's stretchy, that's why I love it. So yeah, I do. This is what I use. I've used so many things again in the past. I've used the cord, I've used so many things. But with all the things I've used so far, I'm in love with this one. I love it. And I love the color also. I mean, it blends in with the green. It blends in with green. But the reason it's my favorite, I find it that it's very gentle on my plants. It doesn't harm my stems when I tie it around. It doesn't harm them at all. It's very gentle on my plants. And it's flexible. I mean, it's stretchy. So yeah, I love it. That's what I use to stake up my plants, to tie my plants around whatever it is I'll be using to stake them up with. And it's my favorite. Yeah, and how can I not talk about moisture meter? I've mentioned this on the last video I did last week. I love this, though my hands, this, you can never go wrong with this. Your fingers, you can never go wrong with that. But the reason I love it so much is because with those big pots, it's not always easy to know whether or not your plant needs to be watered or not, because sometimes your finger cannot get to a place where it needs to get to because the plant is so big. So it helps to have this moisture meter, because then you can just stick it in there and it will tell you whether you need to water your plants or not. I love it for my big pot, my big pots plant. With the small ones, honestly speaking, I don't use this for the small pots. My small, medium pots, I don't use this because all I need is my finger. And also, once you've known your pots and you've come to know your plants, you just have to pick it up and you know it needs to be watered or not. You just have to stick your, the more you take care of your plants, the more you will come to know their needs and how and when to do what, and how it feels when it's dry and how it feels when it's still moist. And even, you know, if you are not sure of that, this is becomes your best friend, because you just have to stick it in there. But otherwise, for my big pots around the house, I use this. It works for me, because then it will tell me whether it's dry or moist or wet. Now 1 to 3, which is your red, is dry, and 3 to 7 is moist, and 8 to 10 is obviously wet. And those numbers, they tell you how dry it is. So if it's 1, it's obviously very dry. If it's 2, it's dry but not so bad. If it's 3, is in between, it's not so bad, you know, it's not bad at all. And if it's 4, it's moist, but you need to do something, you know, things like that. So I love it, really, I love it. This is a thing to have. This is a tool to have. But again, I wouldn't rely much on it. I wouldn't. Learn to know your plants. Don't depend on these things, because yeah, you know, don't depend on them. Learn to know your plants and their needs, and that's the best way to go. Actually, that's the best way to go. But other than that, there's nothing wrong having a tool like this around the house to help you on those days where you are not sure. So that's all from me for today. I just wanted to share with me some of my favorite things. And like I say, that list doesn't remain the same all the time. It changes. And if it does change, I'll definitely update you on that. So yeah, it's not much. And like you've seen, most of the things I love using around my house, to be very honest, is stuff that you won't find in a garden shop. And yeah, and the one I forgot to bring forth is my watering can, my nice small watering can. I love that watering can, and the reason, maybe I can ask my son to bring it for me. Jonathan, can you please bring mommy that pink watering can? It's in the kitchen. The reason I love it so much is because of its long nozzle, and it makes it easy to water plants, because yeah, you can get in there and water your plants very nicely. And the other reason I like it, thank you, he ran off. The other reason I like it is because it's small. You know, look at that. That's my favorite. I like it. I like it. This is my favorite. Yeah, I like it. I've got a whole lot of other watering cans, believe me. I've got plenty. I've got plenty. But this one is my favorite. This is my favorite. It's nice and small, especially on days where I know that I don't need to really do much, but there's 1 or 2 plants that needs watering. It's the one I walk around with. So yeah, but that's all from me today. It's been fun. Please share with me what is your most favorite thing to use around the house with your indoor gardening. I'd like to know, and yeah, and hear from you what do you like using. That would be fun. Yeah, that's all from me today. Until next time, bye.